All right, we are recording. Cheers. What's going on, guys? It's Eric. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day outside. It's like 60 degrees. I went and walked around and took pictures. It's been a minute. No script to this video, kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. I have some stuff I want to share with you, and I want to kind of show you some stuff I've been working on, and most importantly, some things that I've received recently. So first of all are a couple of zines. Now, I wasn't really familiar with what a zine was, at least in regard to photography. I remember as a kid you'd hear about like sort of like music zines or art zines, and they'd be produced and passed around before sort of the internet was a thing. So people would kind of put these little magazines about stuff that they were interested in together and leave them at coffee shops and stuff like that and kind of go back and forth. These are from two people I know. I received a zine from Sam Lee and one from Tim Chisholm. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But I want to share these with you and kind of show you two very different approaches to producing a photography zine. So I'm going to start with Tim's because this is sort of what I think of when I think of a photography zine or a zine in general. It's really homemade. He obviously printed this himself. It's called "I Was Going to Use a Fall Out Boy lyric, but I figured this was better." In case you're wondering, the Fall Out Boy lyric is on the back. I don't remember which song this is from, but I know it's from Under the Cork Tree, the only Fall Out Boy album that I'm really familiar with, because it hit me when I was like in my early 20s, so very relevant. But yeah, it's a bunch of photographs of bands and musicians, and initially he said that he didn't intentionally didn't list who was in here, and I thought I didn't know any of these people, and then much to my embarrassment, I realized that's David Bazan from Pedro the Lion. He's absolutely one of my favorite musicians. The Pedro the Lion album, Control, is in my top 10 albums of all time, maybe top 5. It's one of my absolute favorite albums. So really, really, really neat. These photos are all very lo-fi. He didn't specify which camera he used on any of these. I'm going to assume they're all 35 millimeter, but a lot of grain, a lot of movement, a lot of punk shows and things like that. It's awesome. These are really, really, really cool. He numbered it. This is number 7 of 25. For what it's worth, I paid for both of these. I bought both of these. He wrote this. If you can see that, I don't know, but it's about the photos, but super cool. Really good stuff. That cover photo is awesome. Next up is Sam Lee's. This is, obviously he had this printed. This is on like glossy paper. Very luxurious. There was a little note in here initially to me, which was pretty cool, so thank you. Cover photo is awesome. You sent this to me from an address in Japan, but am I right to these are all in Hong Kong, right? Is that correct? A lot of street photography, a lot of use, again, of motion blur, of slower exposures with moving subjects that I think is really, really cool and really interesting. I dig this. These are really nice. The presentation is really beautiful. So yeah, super solid work. And what I would recommend, if you're interested in not only like the zines, but in either of these photographers, check them out. Sam Lee, I believe, is S. Lee, and some numbers I will link to it below. And Tim's is Cheesums, I think Cheesums on Instagram. I'll link to both of their Instagram accounts and websites or whatever down below. Go check it out. They both are doing very different and very cool work with black and white film photography, and they deserve your attention. Next up, just thought this was kind of cool. Came with a little note, but this is from I almost said Ben Folds. This is not from Ben Folds. This is from Ben Horn. And this is an Instax photo from his October Zion trip this year. It's a picture of a tree with the leaves changing. He sent this to me with a little note because I support him on Patreon. But yeah, this is really, really cool. And he actually messaged me afterwards and said the funny part about this is that this Instax photo turned out better than the 8x10 photo that he tried of the same tree. So kind of funny. I know my hair's looking a little crazy here. I'm never getting a haircut again. In the last month, I turned 36 years old. I'm not dealing with it that well. It's been hard. One day at a time. You might be asking yourself, Eric, what's this camera you're holding in your hand? Well, it is a Pentax 645, and this came courtesy of Sven Davisson. Thank you so much, man. This is amazing. I asked him, how long I could hold on to this, and he's like, if you're going to use it, you can keep it, and I appreciate that so much. I've already used it. I shot 3 rolls on it today. I'm so excited to take this out. It's just so much easier to handhold, and you get more exposures than I do with my Pentax 6.7. So I'm really excited to see what the 6x4.5 negative looks like, what kind of quality I get out of it. He said that the glass is really solid. This is the 75mm 2.8, I believe, right? Which is like a normal lens, but he also sent a 150, so like roughly like a 70 something in terms of 35mm equivalent. But it's weird. It's very like 80s or 90s. You have the kind of the basic LCD display there. You've got a lot of like kind of old school looking buttons on there. It takes 6 AA batteries, which is bananas to run. So this whole thing is just loaded up with batteries. But so far, I love it. It's really, really, really cool. It's worked perfectly. And I'm super excited to see what the negatives look like when I get those back. So obviously stay tuned for a video on this beautiful little camera in the future. Super exciting. And of course, I'm going to link to Sven's stuff down below. He's a poet and a photographer and sort of a Renaissance man based out of New Orleans. So check his stuff out for sure. But thank you so much. You are the best. Oh, God. So this next one is a gift from my landlord. So you may or may not know I have another apartment. I'm kind of transient. I'm moving between 2 places right now. And the people who own the apartment where I live upstate, where I spend my weekdays, they were an older couple. He passed away recently. It was really sad. But she messaged me and said, hey, look, my husband had a big box of old cameras. I don't have anything to do with them. I was really curious if you could use them, if you'd be interested in them. And I said, absolutely, I would love to take a look at them. So she gave me this enormous box of cameras. And, a lot of the stuff is like kind of redundant with what I have. There's some 35mm in here, but there's some really interesting stuff. So let's dig into it and look. So the first and I think most interesting camera here, or certainly weirdest, is this. It's a Kodak Medalist 2. It's just bizarre in its form factor. It's in fact super hard to hold because it's like fat and narrow. So it's really tough to kind of get your hand around it in a way that's comfortable, but it's beautiful. It's almost like Art Deco. And I did a little bit of reading. This camera's from the early 40s. It's all metal. It's heavy duty. And it shoots 620 film. You've got a maximum aperture on this guy of 3.5. You can stop it down all the way to f32, which is really cool. The shutter speeds appear to stick. It doesn't sound accurate to my ear, so I'm gonna take this in and get it looked over and cleaned up, and hopefully I can take this out and shoot it when I get some 120 re-rolled onto 620 spools. Next up, look at that. Now, this is a Super 8 camera. Now, this is obviously not strictly photography, but I'd be really interested to try this. It's a de jour slow motion Super 8 reflex camera, and it's weird. De jour. I don't know anything about this. The Electra 5. I would love to try this out and shoot some Super 8 video film and see how it looks. So, yeah, cool. Oh, now here's a weird one. This is an old Kodak. Now, I don't know how old exactly. Let me see if I can even get this puppy open. I don't really have fingernails to get at, but yeah, look at this. So this is also a 620 camera. This is a number 3A pocket Kodak made in the United States by the Eastman Kodak Company of Rochester, New York. I've been to his house. This camera's beautiful. I'm sure it does not take good photographs, but it's just gorgeous. It's really lovely. You have this, of course, this bellows focusing. You have the little rails. It's almost like a mini 4x5 in the way that it looks. And you focus by looking through this. Oh my God, this needs to be cleaned out. But you focus by looking down through this little viewfinder on the top there, and it has a built-in cable release. But I believe this also takes 620. I could be mistaken, but I would be willing to give this guy a shot and see if I couldn't take photos with it. It's lovely. It's really cool. couple of brownies. I mean, they're not exactly brownies. They're Argus 75s. So these are box cameras, similar to a Kodak Brownie, but Argus is a photography company that no longer exists, and they were based out of the Detroit area, or near Detroit in Michigan. My grandfather had an Argus for a long time because my mother's family is from the Detroit area. So he had an Argus Argo Flex, which was a twin lens reflex camera that they have. These guys are pretty simple. You've got the viewing lens and the taking lens, sort of like a pseudo TLR, but again, I'd be willing to put a roll through each one of these. Boy. We got this. This is a weird one. This is quite a case for such a weird little camera. A Keystone Auto Instant 115X, made in the USA. This thing is as plasticky as an object can get. This is plastic on plastic on plastic. Is this 35 millimeter? It says 115X. This is either 35 millimeter or maybe 110. I don't know. What a weird little camera. I will look it up and see. Is this a serious case for this like tiny little camera? The case probably cost more to put together than the camera itself. What is this? Oh, this is awesome. This is a Herbert George Company, Chicago, Illinois, an Imperial Mark 12 flash. Wild. I don't know anything about this. I'll have to look it up. It came with a flash bulb, and she has manuals for everything here. She gave me the instruction manuals for everything, the documentation for everything, so that's really cool. A couple others here. We have an Elgin miniature, Elgin Laboratories, Chicago, Illinois. I've never heard of any of this stuff. This is awesome. This is, again, pretty plasticky, but it does at least have some maybe metal components on it. Miniature. Maybe 110, I'm not sure. We've got this De Jour Embassy. Oh, this is another... Is this De Jour Embassy Magazine 8? Is this another Super 8 camera? I can't tell. It's got this cool little clear sun, hazy sun, open shade, cloudy, dull, for average subjects, and 16 pictures per second. So I would imagine 16 pictures per second is the film speed for shooting, video, whatever, film, I don't know, motion picture. We got a Canon TL. Not much to say about this. I've got a bunch of Canon 35 millimeters. FD mount, metal, really solid feel, nice looks. Yeah, feels good, looks good. Cool. And this is, if I remember correctly, this guy here, this is a Pentax, yeah, Pentax ES. So a Pentax K-mount, I think K-mount. If I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will leave me a comment, but I believe it's a K-mount 35 millimeter. What else we got here? And, oh my God. And a Gem Junior, the Gem Murgot, Gem Junior, the J.E. Murgot Co., Newark, New Jersey, made in the U.S., Gem Camera Division. This is a box camera. It's got 3 lenses. I don't know what that means. What you do. Oh, wow. And you've got that, yeah. You focus by looking in the top here. And by focus, I mean point it out what you want to take a picture of and click it. Really interesting. And last, we have this cool Polaroid case. How do I figure this out together? Oh my God, it just like sprayed leather dust in my eyes. So this is a Polaroid land camera. This is the 900 electric eye. It's got instructions on the back. It's got that sort of 50s, 60s style instructions. The font is incredible. This is so dope. This is so good. I almost bought a land camera at an estate sale in Buffalo like 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But they only accepted cash and I didn't have any on me, and I just afterwards decided that it wasn't worth my time. Currently, I don't even understand how to open this. This is like watching like a monkey fish for termites with a stick. There it is. And then you wheel this little puppy out here on the rails. Awesome. Awesome. Polaroid electric eye 900. So exciting. I will use this for sure. So that's all. That's all. That's all I got. Really cool stuff. Thank you guys who sent me things. I'm excited to try some of these new cameras out. I'll be doing videos on certainly the 645 and probably some of these other ones in the coming months. Also, I've been working on a script for a new narrative video. It hasn't been going as smoothly as I want. I'm kind of struggling with like what I would like to tackle in terms of writing about photography while sort of balancing what, you know, YouTube wants and things. So look for that in the coming weeks also. Oh, and I want to send a big old thank you out to Gregory McCrae, my Canadian friend up in Hamilton, the bustling metropolis of Hamilton. He was the one who sent me all the film for the 35mm project, which, by the way, I have finished the second roll of that, and I'm gonna get it developed on Wednesday and hopefully have it back Thursday and start working on that. But he was the one who sent that to me. It was like 2 years ago, but thank you so much. You've been awesome. He sent me a couple of things actually. So thank you, Greg. You're the best. Hamilton has a lovely IKEA that I have been to. I bought a bookshelf there so when I was like 20. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. As always, guys, thank you so very much for watching. You know what they say at the end of YouTube videos, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this stuff. I'll see you soon. I'm excited to make some new content shortly. Bye.